Hello everyone. Now we will study chapter 3, second order linear equations in two independent variables. So the general form of a second order equation is a u xx plus y plus c u yy ux plus e if u equal to g. So this is the general form. Here u is a function of x and y. Here you can see we have second order derivative, the remaining terms of first order, and a, b, c, d, e, f, g, they are all functions of x and y. Here we have one condition that both this a, b and c should not be simultaneously 0. Because if all ABC are 0, then this is of first order. Okay. So this is the general form of a second order linear equation. Now we write it in the operator form. So this can be written as L dual. And the first part is called the principal part. This is the principal part of the PDE. Now the principal part is denoted by L naught of u, so which is 6 plus 2b u xy plus c u yy. So which is the leading term containing second order derivative, that is called the principal part. Now many properties of the PDE can be studied by analyzing the principal part alone. Okay. For example, the discriminant. So if we find the discriminant of a second order linear PDE, then we can say that the PDE is hyperbolic, parabolic or elliptic. So discriminant is denoted by the simple delta of L, and it is defined to be b square minus. If the discriminant is greater than 0, then we see that the PDE is hyperbolic. The PDE is hyperbolic, and an example is if the discriminant is equal, and the example is the heat equation. And if discriminant is less than 0, PDE is elliptic. And its example is the Laplace equation. So these equations we will study in detail later. So discriminant is calculated like b square minus ac. So a, b, c we are getting from the principal part alone. So that's why the principal part is important. Okay. So we have the following classification for the PDE. So it is just like in conic section you have studied parabola, hyperbola and elliptic. Okay, so in the same way there is a transformation between them. That was an algebraic equation, and here we have PDE. So in PDE we have this condition. So we have the classification as hyperbolic, parabolic and elliptic. Now if the equation, if there is a domain omega in R2 by domain connected set R2. Now if the given PDE is said to be hyperbolic, parabolic or elliptic in the domain omega, if it is so in for all point xy in omega. So if the relation holds for all point xy in omega, then we say that the PDE is parabolic, elliptic or hyperbolic in omega. Now we will also do a change of coordinates, that is which represent to a non-singular transformation. That is here the PDE which we wrote, there u is a function of transformation, we can change the coordinate, we can convert xy into another function theta, another variable theta eta, where theta is a function of xy and eta is a function of xy. So such a transformation is possible if the Jacobian, so how the Jacobian of this transformation is defined? Jacobian is not equal to 0, then such a transformation is possible. That is, it implies that theta y minus theta y eta x. If this is not equal to 0, then such a transformation of the coordinates, that is the coordinates, can be transformed, which corresponds to a non-singular transformation. Such a transformation is possible. So in the next class, if a PDE, if a parabolic, elliptic or hyperbolic, then it will remain so even if we change the coordinates. So if we change the coordinates, we are applying a non-singular transformation, then only the PDE is invariant under such change of coordinates. So it will remain as parabolic, elliptic and hyperbolic. So such a change of coordinates is possible. The nature of the PDE will not change. Okay, so that we will see in the next class.